and today we're going to make healthy, yummy bread in a bread machine. And this is something I do almost every single week because I love to have fresh bread in the house that is healthy and super cheap. So bread machines are pretty simple. They just plug into the wall, no big deal. They usually have a display that has the type of bread, how light the crust or dark the crust is that you want. Some of them have a delay feature. If you're looking to get one, make sure to check out the vessel. It should be pretty sturdy. This is what the bread is baked in and it is kneaded and mixed in, and also what it rises in. So it should be non-stick. And then be super sure, especially if you're buying it secondhand, that it does contain this removable paddle that spins in the bottom of the baking vessel. If you don't have the paddle, you might as well not get the machine because it will not work without it, and it's an often forgotten piece when people donate their machines. I got this one at a garage sale for about $8. And this is my dog Duke, and he is going to help me bake today along with my other animals. So this is the recipe that we're using today. It's for Steakhouse wheat bread, so it's kind of supposed to be imitating what you would get if you go to a steakhouse and they put bread on the table. It's kind of dark in color. So the first thing I needed to do was melt butter, but for some reason when I put my glass measuring cup in the microwave to melt the butter, the bottom broke off. And this has never happened to me before, and I was really kind of shocked that it did. So let me know if something like this has happened to you, but how bizarre that it happened today. So anyway, I got a different measuring cup and melted the butter, there it is, and then I am adding the second ingredient, which is warm water. And I will link this recipe below so you can make this as well. This makes a 1 pound loaf. And then the next ingredient is honey. So I'm trying to scrape it out here. I'm not really sure of a better way to get honey measured and then put into a recipe. So if you do, please let me know. But there it is. And the next ingredient is salt. This calls for 3/4 of a teaspoon. So I just get the 1/4 of a teaspoon out and do 3 of them. And again, you're just putting them in roughly in order of wettest ingredient to driest ingredient, but you just go in the direction of what the recipe says. This bread is actually dark in color for 2 reasons, and one of them is it has coffee in it. And actually, I'm very sensitive to caffeine. I don't do much caffeine, and this does not bother me. So you can give this to your kids. It's not going to make them hyper from the small amount of coffee in there. And then the next ingredient is just plain old white sugar. And actually, I do the sugar first and then do this ingredient, which is cocoa, because it is the same amount. So I use the same measuring spoons, but I just do the sugar first so that I don't get them, because once you get them dirty with the cocoa, you have to wash them. And the next ingredient is bread flour, and this is different from regular all-purpose flour. And I do find that it does make a difference. It's just kind of sifted a little bit more. It's lighter. And it causes your bread to rise a little bit better. So, but I just get the Walmart brand. It's no big deal. This calls for 3 cups, and I do try and be pretty precise with my measuring. And these are the wonderful measuring cups that my husband bought me for I think for our anniversary. I don't remember. I got them for something, either my birthday. I think it was my birthday. But they're super cute, and they have little hearts. They're from Williams-Sonoma. I love them. And the next ingredient is the yeast. And you do want to make sure you get either bread machine yeast, quick yeast, rapid yeast, something that says that. And you can get it in little packets. But I do the bread so often that I just do the jars because that's cheaper for me. So here are all of the ingredients all in the vessel. And here's another one of my baking assistants, Eddie. He's helping out today. He loves it when I drop stuff. This is a great recipe because this is all the dirty dishes that it creates, which I love because that's not very many. And again, here's the recipe, and I just double check that I have added every ingredient before I turn on the bread machine, because I have forgotten to add something before, and it really kind of ruins the whole thing. So I do double check that. So you want to put your vessel into your machine, and it should click. See, it kind of like popped into place there. And then you just make your selections on whatever kind of bread. This was just a basic bread, so that's number 1. And then I do change it to the letter B setting for light, but that's just one button. And then I press start, and then it starts doing this. So that paddle is going around, mixing all of your ingredients, and it will take care of every single step. It tells me how long it will take, and here it is a little bit later, and it has actually made a dough ball, and it will start rising. You can, if you want to, you can scrape down the sides, but it doesn't really matter. And this, it is all done. So this is 3 hours and 40 minutes later, and here's a beautiful, wonderful baked fresh bread that you really didn't do much. You just kind of put the stuff in there and turned the button on, and it's amazing. It's amazing to me. The bread machines are super inexpensive if you get one at a thrift store or on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. Like I said, I got this one at a garage sale for $8. I've gotten them for $3. I've gotten them for 10 or 20 bucks online, you know, from somebody else. Yeah, sorry, Nick. Normally they do slide right out, but the handle was in the way because I was trying to do it one-handed and film at the same time. And then this is just showing that sometimes the paddle does get stuck in the bread, and that's fine. Other times it comes out and the paddle stays in the bread machine. So either way, you're fine. So definitely make sure that you have a rack or something like that where you can allow air to circulate around your bread so it can cool completely before you store it. If you store it with it still being hot, it just won't do as well, and it'll grow mold sooner. So as soon as mine is totally cool, I just have this lock and lock container that fits just perfect. I love it. I think it was my grandma's. And I just keep it sealed, except for when we're getting the bread out, and I just have a bread knife that I slice it with, and it is so good. You can put butter on it, or jelly, or jam, or honey, or cream cheese, and you pop it in the maybe not with the don't pop in the microwave with the cream cheese, but with the butter, and it's so good. And the last thing I'll say is do be careful when you are washing your bread vessel. Make sure that the paddle does not go down the drain because it is removable, but also do not soak this. You can soak it for maybe a couple of minutes just to get everything loosened up, but do not soak it for hours or days at a time. I made that mistake and had to buy a new bread machine. All right.